Hi and welcome to WoW Flash. This is my quick rundown of all the news items for anything related to Warcraft from the past 7 days. So there's 5 main items today. The first one should be, you could call it a sort of public service announcement really. Blizzard announced that they have suspended or banned a number of accounts for selling services for real life currency. This is against terms of service. They are keen to point out that doing things in-game for gold is fine. So organising boost groups for in-game gold is absolutely fine. It's when you offer goods or services in the game for real-world currency, that is not at all fine. That's against the terms of service. And they've said that although they've only banned a relatively small number of people in this case, but it includes top-end raiders, that they're doing it to publicise it a little bit more, so and then there'll be sort of more severe and more consistent punishments going out in the future. They have said that there's a couple of ways to try and steer clear of this, so I'll just read this out. So it says, if you see people advertising these services, please help us keep the game clean by reporting them. If you're unsure, here are some common warning signs. A broker is offering to match buyers with service providers. Commonly, a broker will collect real-world currency from a buyer while offering gold to a guild or group that will actually provide the service. Or secondly, someone offering a service is unwilling to discuss terms of payment via in-game tells and insists on using a non-Blizzard application to communicate, because obviously then Blizzard can't monitor those communications. Another little thing I noticed is maybe of some interest. It's to do with the legendaries again. Keeps coming up, doesn't it? Keeps coming up. For 7.2, I noticed one of the legendaries from my particular spec, a helmet that is largely considered useless. It's the sort of one that you get some use in dungeons, if we're honest, but it's pretty crap. And Blizzard have sort of said with regards to legendaries, they see the problem as being the throughput legendaries. They wish they were all what they call utility legendaries, even though some of them are fairly low even on that, although this is necessarily an example. But I find it curious, this particular legendary, they've massively increased the throughput on it. They've massively increased the damage on it, so people are less disappointed when they get it. And I always find that a bit funny when they say that the problem is the throughput legendaries, and they wish they were all utility ones. So they take a utility one and give it a massive throughput. Now, whether that's just a sticking plaster for Legion because, you know, the cat's out the bag, and that they're going to go completely for non-throughput ones in the next expansion, I don't know. But I don't also know if that seems to be a theme with other specs, legendaries as well. I've not been checking through them all. I just sort of noticed it for mine. They did this in the last patch. They had, you know, they're increasing the number of legendaries that have this throughput to reduce the disappointment factor of getting certain ones, I think. Now, another thing that has changed with regards on the PTR with 7.2. So until about last week, the plan was with the Order Hall research, there's going to be a couple of bits of research to do when 7.2 comes out. So save up your order resources. And one of them was it would make your relics have 2 traits on them. And the idea was that it sort of stops you having Abyss relic and a very, very worst relic. But they've shelved that now. They've decided, based on feedback and few ideas of their own, that they're not dropping it completely, but it's not going to come out in 7.2. They've changed that research instead for something that gives world quests a chance to give extra artifact power. So that's a thing, because of course we're going to be farming artifact power again when 7.2 comes out. Isn't that exciting? So yeah, so that the relic research has been swapped for one that's now going to give a chance, not guaranteed thing, a chance for world quests to give extra artifact power. The other one is that Nighthold is now fully open on LFR mode, so you can now do the full thing. So those who are only doing LFR, not doing the other modes of raiding, have got access to all the quests associated with that, including the balance of power, which I still haven't done. I'm still in the very early stages of that one. And finally, people were disconcerted about some things come on the PTR in terms of nether shards, farming these. This is all to do with breaching the Tomb of Sargeras. And it was tied to the Pathfinder achievement, which is what you need to get flying. Ultimately, when 7.2 comes out, there's a lot of things people are going to be looking forward to. But number one for a lot of players is, how soon can I get flying? and people were dismayed at the thought of having to farm all these ridiculous number of nether shards, which are used for various things, not least of which is giving you a chance at a legendary. But there's a couple of things. First of all, Blizzard have said that the actual number that was on the PTR is an overinflation, and it will be much, much lower. And the other thing is, it's no longer going to be required for Pathfinder. So you're not going to have to do the Breach of the Tomb achievement for the Pathfinder Part 2. So it should be a lot quicker to get that done as well. So there we are. Those are the main points of news. I've got to go off and do a blooper video now. The raids this week have been so calamitous it's quite funny, actually. I did a blooper video for Tier 17 a long time ago now. Ever since then, I've never managed to get enough footage of like comedy wipe moments or anything like that to do one. But I've got enough material, I reckon, just from the last 2 days to do one. So I'm going to have to do that now. So I hope you found it interesting as always. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. Until next time, I'll see you later.